Super Bowl champions. The Philadelphia Eagles are back at camp this week with a walkthrough Wednesday, then practice kicking off yesterday and continuing earlier today. The Eagles have some new faces in various roles, both on and off the field. But enough of me telling you about it. Let's hear from someone who is actually there. Let's welcome in our NFL insider, Dan Graziano, who joins us from the Eagles training camp, and front office insider, Mike Tannenbaum. But Dan, I'm going to start with you. Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts is going into year 6, acclimating to his 6th different offensive play caller with new OC, Kevin Patullo. How is that transition going so far?
Pretty smoothly from everything I've been told, Victoria. And I think, the key thing you said there is he's going into year 6. He's used to this. And now this is a more confident, more established player in Jalen Hurts, who is now a Super Bowl MVP and has that level of validation. When the Eagles lost Shane Steichen to the Colts after their first Super Bowl appearance with Jalen Hurts, the transition to Brian Johnson as offensive coordinator that year did not go great. So now they've lost Kellen Moore to a head coaching job. They elevate Patullo. Jalen Hurts has been working with Kevin Patullo. This is now their 5th year together. He had only been working with Brian Johnson for 2 at the time. And having gone through these kinds of transitions, they just sort of feel like he's better equipped to handle it. The familiarity with Patullo, who also worked with head coach Nick Sirianni back during their time in Indianapolis, they just feel like they're in a position to make this a much smoother transition than what they went through a couple of years back.
Can never go wrong with a smooth transition. Now, Mike T, on to you. The Eagles owned the top defense last season, but lost a number of key contributors this offseason. Any concern for a drop-off on that side of the ball?
Yes, Victoria, because they're counting on so many young players on defense, it's almost like they have to bat 1,000 as it relates to their draft choices. Looking at this graphic here, these are a lot of young players that they're counting on. Some that have been other places like Dory Jackson, Josh Uche. And then when you think about some of their draft choices like Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Jalix Hunt, that's a lot of changes on one side of the ball. So could they overcome it? Absolutely. But it's almost like they got to bat 1,000. And someone like J.I. Campbell's been hurt. So there are some question marks. So if they struggle repeating, it'll be because of those young defensive players that have to step up to bigger roles.
Batting 1,000 is never how you want to start things off. Now, the Eagles used their first 5 picks in April's draft on defense and selected 12 defensive players overall during the last 4 drafts. Now, guys, hang tight. Scooby, take it away.
Now, Victoria, the Washington Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin, who has been frustrated with negotiations on a contract extension, has requested a trade. With the sides far apart, McLaurin held out for the first 4 days of training camp before reporting Sunday there's been no movement towards a new deal, one source said. So now fans all over the NFL are daydreaming about having McLaurin join their team. Mike T and Dan Graziano back with us. And Graz, I'll start with you. What are you hearing about the likelihood of McLaurin being traded?
I continue to hear, Scooby, that it's very unlikely that Terry McLaurin gets traded. This is obviously an effort by him and likely his agent to sort of get things moving in a certain direction, either to trade Terry McLaurin. They want to get a contract extension done with him. He's a part of their short-term and long-term plans, and that has not changed from everything I've been told over the last 24 hours.
Yeah, it's a situation to just continue monitoring because McLaurin, he also had a great year last season. He finished with a career high 13 touchdowns. That ranked 2nd in the league among wide receivers. So Mike T, the Commanders brought in Deebo Samuel to add on top of that firepower for Jaden Daniels. The combination of him and McLaurin as weapons for their second-year QB was going to be scary yards for the NFL. So here we are. Should Washington even entertain trading McLaurin for other assets?
No, Scooby, they should absolutely not even return the call, and here's why. You have a superstar quarterback in Jaden Daniels on a rookie deal. This is your window to go out and try to win a championship. They added players like Laramie Tunsil and Josh Connerly, amongst others, as you mentioned, Deebo Samuel. And what Terry McLaurin does so well, Scooby, is he complements Samuel. He can win outside. Since 2019, he leads the NFL in contested catches, so he's the perfect complement. You're under contract, Terry. If it's not ideal, that's, we're sorry, but you're not going anywhere. We'll try to give you a raise. If it's not good enough, you'll be a free agent in 2026.
Oh, man. Just figure it out, guys. Come on. Fellas, appreciate you. continues today as we check in on the Minnesota Vikings. They'll have a new quarterback under center this season, with last year's first-round draft pick J.J. McCarthy taking lead of an offense that was top 10 in passing yards and top 10 in points scored last season. So coming to us from Minnesota is senior NFL writer Jeremy Fowler. Jeremy, Minnesota picked J.J. McCarthy to be the guy this year, even after the great season Sam Darnold had, who's now the QB1 in Seattle. So what can you share about the Vikings' transition to McCarthy?
Well, Scooby, J.J. McCarthy is part of a carefully crafted plan by the Vikings that took years to make. Kevin Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, the GM, and the regime here years ago were looking at options, reclamation projects, quarterbacks that struggled in the first stop that might be good in another. That led to Sam Darnold. And they looked years ahead at what was a star-studded 2024 NFL draft. McCarthy was a big part of that. They identified him as a crucial component. So they went to work. They drafted him. Now they believe that he's going to be ready over time. That's why they did not sign Aaron Rodgers. They feel like they have a ready-made roster right now that they can build around a rookie-scale quarterback who's on the cheap. Now, he's taken some lumps out here. It's been difficult in recent days because Brian Flores' defense is loaded up, very experienced. So McCarthy's had some really good moments. He's also had some rough days, but as one person with the team told me, he's more ready now than he was back in the spring, and he'll definitely be more ready for week one than he is now.
Yeah, that's as you would expect from a young bull. But the Vikings, hey, they relied almost exclusively on Aaron Jones Sr. last season as a main ball carrier. He's now got Jordan Mason in the running back room. What's a plan for Minnesota dividing the workload?
Well, they're going to divide and conquer. Aaron Jones will remain a big part of that. He is considered the starter, but Jordan Mason has made an impression out here. Just talking to people with the team, he gives some youthful explosion. Now, when they traded for him back in the spring, there were several suitors involved. He was considered maybe the top running back available because it wasn't an overly strong running back class outside of Jones, who signed with the team early before free agency. And our Vikings reporter Kevin Seifert pointed out that Mason actually took a first-team rep in 11-man work recently. So usually the top back in Kevin O'Connell's offense is going to get about 2/3 of the snaps. This could be a situation that's closer to half and half. And they have Ty Chandler as well, a veteran that they really like.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. And something that I'm keeping an eye on is Jeremy's shirt. He says it's blue, America, but what I see here is a purple shirt, Jeremy. What color is it really?
It looks purple.
I promise it's blue. Hey, it's been a long camp trip, Scooby, so I'm probably mixing up my colors in a bad way.
Looks slightly purple.
Yeah, this is going to be like one of those social media things where people are going to see two different colors. But Jeremy, thanks for joining us. I appreciate your insight.
No.
Besides the color conversation of what color Jeremy's shirt is, let's keep the Vikings conversation going and bring in our senior NFL writer, Bill Barnwell, for more. Kevin O'Connell believes having a strong run game can help maximize J.J. McCarthy's transition. So, Bill, what else can help